Are you wondering how to find the right SAT or ACT tutor for you? Well, luckily, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. I want to let you know that there's one major decision that you should make first, and then there are 10 traits. So without further ado, the first step is to know what you're looking for. Are you looking for an expert, or are you looking for a service provider? Let me explain what those even mean. The expert does way more than just, go over trigonometry questions. So she'll guide your whole family through the test prep process. She'll create a big picture plan with you. She'll tell you what's necessary to achieve your goals. She'll help you pick the right test that best showcases your high schooler's strengths or your strengths. She'll keep you updated with any SAT or ACT news. She'll manage the entire test prep schedule. She'll make sure you're registered for the correct tests, the correct test dates, and that your son or daughter peaks on test day and doesn't burn out before then. Other things that she does, she can help ease tension between you and your high schooler, or if you're a student, you and your parent, by making sure that, we don't have any parents nagging their high schoolers, because she speaks to you both separately, and she'll keep you all on the same page. So basically, the expert is a lot. So she's not only a tutor, right? She's a mentor, a coach, a guide, in addition to being really smart. Even though an expert brings a lot to the table, not everyone really wants that. So some parents and students really want someone who I classify more as a service provider, right? The other type. So this is someone who will come in and do what you ask them to do. So like you, the parent, or you, the really motivated student, you're the one in charge. You're the one calling the shots. You're the one saying, today we're working on the SAT science section, or tomorrow we're going to go over this SAT practice test, or we're gonna try systems of linear equations and go over these problem sets forever and ever and ever, right? If we were building a house, in this case, you, the parent, you, the self-motivated student, you're like the contractor. You're the person knowing what the plan is, knowing what you want, and then this person, this type of tutor, would in essence be the painter, and you say, hey, I want you to paint that wall orange, and they literally paint the wall orange. Like you picked out the color, you picked out where it goes. You call the shots, they just kind of do what you want. Okay, so that is the first major decision you have to make, is what scope are you looking for? After you've chosen between the two, there are, though, going to be, I say, 10 big traits that you need to look for. We want someone who understands what's on the test. I mean, this goes without saying. They need to generally be smart. They need to have probably done well themselves on the SAT or ACT. You can't teach material if you don't know it yourself. So that is the first thing, is that this tutor, whether expert or service provider, is generally smart. The second thing is that, your tutor can be really smart, but if they don't understand the way the tests are structured and how the tests are, then it's not gonna work. Because you want someone who's going to do more than just work through some problems with you on the SAT or ACT. You want someone who knows these tests inside and out intimately. In standardized testing, the whole is more than just the sum of the math topics or the grammar concepts, right? The SAT, the ACT, they have different rhythms, they have different feels, there are different strategies for success. Your tutor should specialize in the SAT and ACT and not be like a jack of all tutoring, right? They should know all the possible tips and tricks in existence for both of the tests. So that is the second biggie, is that they are intimately familiar with the SAT and ACT and specialize in them. Hey there, I'm Kristina at Ivy Lounge Test Prep, and I help students all over the globe get into their dream colleges by helping them drastically raise their SAT and ACT test scores and write very compelling college application essays. So now I want to hear from you. So based on what I've said so far, do you think you're looking for more of the expert, someone who's going to guide you in the whole test prep process, or are you looking for someone to kind of help explain some things, but you're calling the shots? So please make a comment in the comment below. Let me know what you think. And while you're at it, please hit the little thumbs up like button and also subscribe to our station. Thank you so much. The next thing is, do they understand all the concepts on the overarching concepts on the SAT and ACT? There are a lot of tips and tricks out there, and that's great. It's almost impossible to get from a fairly high to a near perfect score or a middle to a top score unless you truly understand all the concepts, like the overarching concepts of grammar, the overarching concepts of math, not just, oh, well, after you need to have a comma before the fanboys. But if you don't actually understand, like, what are you trying to accomplish in this sentence? Are you putting two complete clauses together? What are the 5 ways you can put those together correctly? What are other ways you can even use a comma? Like, if you don't understand literally all the concepts, then you're just kind of teaching little tips and tricks here and there, but you're never going to get someone to that really top score. You need an SAT or ACT tutor to have this broader knowledge as well. Or what are they going to teach you, right? What are they going to teach your high schooler? So that is number 3. Have you ever known someone who really knows their stuff and like they're a genius at what they do, but when they try to teach you about it, you like don't know what they're saying? I get it, because unfortunately there are a lot of tutors out there who can be like that. So you can understand all of the concepts, the facts, the tips and tricks in the world, but if the particular tutor cannot successfully explain this to you and express this an idea that makes perfect sense to you or to your son and daughter, then it's never going to work. So this means that your tutor needs to have a knack for breaking down complex information in a way that clicks and is easily digestible. So there you have it. Number 4, the ideal tutor for you needs to communicate effectively. Here's another thing. Maybe the tutor can speak so well to your son or daughter, but then they can't explain to you what's going on, or they can't tell you where we are in the process. So this is another conundrum that can happen. You'll never get anywhere in your student-tutor relationship if your tutor cannot relate to and earn the esteem of, the student, your high schooler. Your tutor needs to be able to effectively communicate with you, the parent, right? So you have to respect what they have to say. So that's number 5. Your tutor needs to speak 2 languages, speak teen and speak adult fluently. So one of the hallmarks of communicating effectively with both a parent and a student, you have to speak that person's language. So in the case of the SAT or the ACT, that also means that you need to be able to explain questions in multiple ways. So you try maybe your favorite way of explaining something, but the student just doesn't get it. So then you have to be mentally flexible. You have to think another way to explain it to them. In fact, so one of the things I do is I am amazing at drawing analogies. And so I can, I will either personally relate to the student by any means necessary. If they play volleyball, I'll make it have to do with a volleyball analogy. If they are an actor, maybe it relates to giving a performance on stage. If they're into music, maybe it has to do with like Upsal or Tay-Tay, right? So it means putting yourself in the student's shoes mentally and explaining the easiest or fastest way for that particular student to solve a problem. We're talking being mentally flexible, being able to explain something multiple ways, being able to personally relate it, and also being aware of based on what I know this person knows, how can I explain it so they get it the quickest way? So number 7, your tutor has to have a high emotional intelligence. Not only does this tutor need to be able to intuit the inner churnings of your high schooler's thought processes, and they need to be able to, correct any mistaken lines of thought, but they also need to know how hard to push. And sometimes that can be difficult. So sometimes you have a student and they need inspiration. They need you to motivate them. Sometimes you have a student who needs to be soothed so that their anxious feelings calm down. And then other times you need to call the student out on their, let's call it what it is, BS or excuses or even self-sabotage. Above all of this, the tutor needs to know when to do what. So we need this high EQ and the wisdom to know when to do what. So while these first 7 attributes sound like fun and games, joking, they're not really fun and games. The ultimate goal of this test prep stuff is you want your student to, or you, if you're the student, to hit your target SAT or ACT score, right? You need a tutor who is both goal-focused and has superlative time management skills. They need to always bring you back to how far you've come and where you still need to go. Do you really need to spend the next session learning about a matrix when maybe it's on one question in that math section of the ACT? Or will you get the score you need by skipping that altogether and focusing on, I don't know, system of linear equations? Or are you at such a high level of the bell curve that you have to understand every single concept, because truly every question matters at this point? Are you not there, and a simple hack will suffice? So this time management and understanding where the goal is key. So that is number 8, is your tutor needs to have her eye on the prize. And now for the next trait. The way of the test prep land and the college prep land is always changing. And the last thing you want to discover is your tutor doesn't know that the ACT essay has a new prompt, or that the SAT is going digital, right? So your tutor should update you on the latest advancements and announcements, not the other way around. So that is number 9, is your tutor needs to stay abreast of SAT, ACT, and Common App updates. Because your tutor should be, and here's number 10, constantly learning, researching, and improving. So your SAT and ACT tutor should be a lifelong learner who wants to share with you the top-notch information and strategies for the tests. They should always be researching new test prep books, finding other material, sussing out the very best and most recent testing strategies, constantly honing her craft as a teacher, a coach, a cheerleader, and a mentor. So I know which type of tutor I am. And by now you probably do too. I'm the expert. Now that's not the type of tutor that every family needs or wants, and that's okay. But what's important is that you've made your decision, you understand the possibilities of the scope here, and you understand what traits you're looking for. So now that you know exactly how to find if your tutor is the right fit for you, the next question naturally is, what test am I taking? Am I taking the digital SAT or the ACT? So if you want to find out exactly how to do that, please watch my next video. I will show you exactly how.